What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. Dodging skill shots is an extremely important mechanic when it comes to outplaying your opponents, and I wanted to get better, so I sat down and practiced hard for 10 hours straight, and I'm here to give you my tips as well as what I learned from the experience. If you enjoyed this series, let me know by hitting that like button and comment what mechanic you'd like to see me practice next. Anyways, let's get started. So the first thing to get effective practice is to understand how exactly to improve your skill shot dodging, and for that I have quite a few tips. There's two main ways to dodge a skill shot: prediction and reaction. Dodging a skill shot based on prediction is definitely the easiest way. By anticipating a skill and predicting it before it gets thrown out, you can begin to dodge it before the skill is even casted, essentially removing the need for you to have a decent reaction time, as you pretty much double the time that you have to dodge the ability. On the other hand, if you fail to anticipate the skill shot, it doesn't mean it's impossible to dodge, and there's a few things you can do to improve your reaction-based dodges. The first is to improve your mouse movements. When dodging a skill shot, you want to keep your mouse cursor closer to your character, so that you can change the direction that you are moving a lot faster if necessary, since you have less distance to move your mouse. Also, one good thing to get used to is instead of looking at the projectile of the ability, look at the animation of your opponent's champion, since they will pretty much always have a wind-up animation before the projectile is thrown out, so you can see the animation faster that way. Also, in general, it's good to think about and try to get a feel for your character's hitbox, since champions tend to have models that are not the exact shape of their hitbox, and rather use the center area of their character. And when you juke a skill shot, you want to move in a direction perpendicular to the projectile. And if the projectile is a circle when it lands rather than a line-based projectile, get used to dodging by juking to the inside, closer to your opponent, as most players will throw out these skills with a bit of a lead off, expecting you to move further back. Anyways, overall my goal with this practice session was to improve both my skill shot predictions as well as my reactions to skill shots that I wasn't able to predict fast enough, and as a whole improve my skill shot dodging mechanics. Alright, so let's break down what I did during my 10-hour session. I originally wanted to set up some custom games with a friend, but I found that those drills were not effective practice, since it's important to get used to dodging not only different types of skill shots, but dodging when you aren't always focusing entirely on it. In addition, players tend to throw out skill shots in different ways, and so I found the practice was just not general enough to be applicable to my mechanics as a whole throughout future games. So I eventually came up with a practice regimen that can be split into two parts. The first is a little weird and probably a bit unexpected, but I started out by doing 2 hours of playing a reflex training game called Aim Booster. I found this game to be extremely helpful for improving my reaction-based dodges. It's a game where you click on targets that appear with a focus on speed first and accuracy second. It's great because of the small window that it takes place in, which allows you to get used to keeping your mouse closer to your character. And when you play this game, make sure that you're right-clicking instead of left-clicking, since that is of course what you use to move when you play League, and focus more on the speed and controlling and improving your mouse movements rather than the accuracy of your clicks. It's also going to help you find problems in your mouse setup if you need to improve it. Overall, it was a pretty useful drill for improving my reaction-based mechanics, since it focuses on improving your reaction time and your mouse movements, which are both exactly what you need to improve your skill shot dodging. So although this game is quite obviously not League of Legends, I found the skills to be very applicable and easy to transition over. And the next part was to actually focus on applying the concepts that I went over in the first half of this video in order to commit the techniques to muscle memory. And so for the rest of the time I played ARAM matches with a key focus on dodging skill shots while I played and applying the concepts about how to improve dodges and how to dodge properly. I was constantly thinking about my dodging techniques and how to improve them throughout the games. The main thing I did was when I got hit by a skill shot, I thought about why I got hit by it, and why I failed to dodge that skill shot, and what I could have done better. In the end, a lot of them came down to failing to predict the projectile, but sometimes I would also react slowly or react by moving in an incorrect direction, and so I was able to improve a lot on that. And so taking the time to think about and apply the knowledge of how to improve skill shot dodging was huge, and I think the session was quite successful as a whole. The thing is that when it comes to dodging, you want to put yourself in a spot where you can dodge without really even thinking about it, on instinct. And so you have to practice a lot and really focus and get used to the mechanics. And when you can dodge once you see it and have that gut instinct reaction, it gets a lot easier to dodge skill shots as a whole. And so as for my results, what I did to quantify them was each game I kept track of the skill shots that I thought were possible to dodge, but that I failed to dodge. And overall I had a lot of improvement. When I started, I was counting about 1 skill shot per minute each game on average that I got hit by, but throughout the session my dodging mechanics improved and I got a lot better at predicting skill shots. In addition, I really got to start committing the techniques to muscle memory, and by the end I was only getting hit by about 1 skill shot every 2 minutes on average, rather than every 1 minute. So by the end of it, I was getting hit by just about half as many skill shots as when I started, meaning I improved by about 50% overall, which is honestly fantastic, and I'm very satisfied with this practice session. If you want to do it for yourself, remember that you don't really have to do it for 10 hours at all. Even as much as 2 to 4 hours can go a really long way, and you certainly don't have to do it in one sitting like I did. Also, I highly recommend the aim booster training, as I think getting used to proper mouse movements while you are just playing League is actually pretty hard, but that game definitely helped me out a lot. And that just about wraps it up. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button to help support me, as well as you could subscribe for some more awesome content in the future. And check out some of my other videos on the screen too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.